from the Kten studios, you're watching Kten News at 5.
2 lives lost in a morning crash in Tushka. We'll hear from troopers on what they say caused the fatal collision. Another wreck in Grayson County also claims lives. We'll go live from the scene. That's right now on Kten News at 5. Afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob Brickeen.
We're glad you're with us. I'm Lisanne Anderson. A 2-vehicle fatal crash on State Highway 11 in Grayson County left the road shut down for more than 4 hours this afternoon.
Kten's Abby Heyman, you're live at the scene. What do you know?
At least 2 people were killed on a crash on Highway 11 this morning in Grayson County, right near the intersection of Nelson Road. We don't know very much, but we know that Texas Department of Transportation officials were here for nearly 4 hours trying to figure out what happened, where exactly it happened, how many people were killed. All they've been able to tell us for these first 4 hours has been that at least 2 people were killed. It was a multi-fatality incident. So we're still waiting to hear back from them on what exactly happened. Now, when I got out here and drove on this road, this is a really fast road. People are going 70, 75 miles an hour. Right behind me near the intersection, there is a sign that says slow down 60 miles an hour right before this intersection. But when I drove down Nelson Road and came back out, you can't see the cars coming around this curve right here. They're going so fast. So we still have to wait to confirm from Texas Department of Transportation officials on what officially happened here today. But we do know that at least 2 lives were lost in a 2-vehicle crash on Highway 11 in Grayson County. When we have more information, we'll keep you updated on Kten.com and more on Kten News at 6. For now, I'll send it back to you guys live in Grayson County. Abby Heyman, Kten News.
An awakening for a lot of folks this morning when those storms rolled through. My dog was barking.
Well, we got the barking and the whining about 4:30 this morning too. It didn't last long at our house, but my goodness, those winds, Mandy. More than 70-mile-per-hour winds in some portions of Texoma?
And yeah, we clocked in about 72 miles per hour in Love County this morning and overturned semi because of that wind gust. More storms expected, though, overnight and then again here for the next few days. Here's the big picture right now. Most of radar is quiet. We have the clouds, maybe a few spotty showers in the I-35 corridor, but we're watching southeastern Oklahoma today for additional development. We've had storms rolling through the last couple of hours. So far, that stationary front is mainly south of us. That's giving us the better tornado potential today. That's going to be slowly lifting north into tonight, but right now I think we're going to be okay in southeastern Oklahoma. They're seeing some scattered showers, a little bit of lightning with this, but nothing severe at this time there. The tornado watch is just to our southeast. Severe thunderstorm watch goes until 10 o'clock from McCurtain County, and then that flood watch is also in place for several inches of rain here over the next couple of days. Here's what's ahead, though. Going overnight, another round of storms, mainly with a hail threat. That's going to be 1 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Friday. But Friday afternoon and evening, we have a significant threat for a couple of tornadoes in southeastern Oklahoma and across northeast Texas. That risk mainly going to be 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday, and it's a level 4 risk that we have out tomorrow. And then Saturday, another round in the morning with some lingering showers by the afternoon. A busy next few days. We'll talk more on the timing coming up, guys.
Traffic backed up from a fatal crash along a stretch of Highway 69 this morning in Atoka County.
Kten's Olivia Hertzberg reports on what we know so far.
Oklahoma Highway Patrol troopers tell Kten heavy rainfall resulted in a 3-vehicle fatal crash near Tushka, Oklahoma Thursday morning. Around 6:20, a vehicle headed north on US 69 is believed to have hydroplaned and lost control. The driver crossing the center median and was struck by another vehicle headed south. We're told 3 vehicles were involved in the crash. Authorities pronounced 2 people dead at the scene. A passenger was flown to a Texas hospital. Coming up tonight, we'll hear from Captain Scott Hampton with Oklahoma Highway Patrol with details on this investigation. In Atoka County, Oklahoma, Olivia Hertzberg, Kten News.
Andy mentioned this earlier. Winds knocked down a tractor-trailer rig this morning in Love County. Happened as that storm rolled through about a little bit north of Marietta on mile marker 18. Winds topped 72 miles per hour.
Gunfire this afternoon in Pushmataha County.
Kten's Kennedy Patterson learned what led to the shooting.
A robbery quickly turned into a shooting in pursuit, which, according to the Pushmataha County Sheriff, ended with the victim in the hospital and suspect in jail. Antlers Police Department and the Pushmataha Sheriff's Office responded to calls just before noon of a shooting outside of the Pruitt's Food grocery store. The suspect, who has been identified as a 35-year-old man, drove off, making it around 3 miles from the scene.
The suspect took off, and the deputies got in pursuit with him, and they chased him to this location here, and he figured he was cornered, so he threw his gun down and gave up to him.
According to the Pushmataha County Sheriff, the suspect is currently in the Choctaw County Jail. The investigation has been handed over to the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. In Antlers, Oklahoma, Kennedy Patterson, Kten News.
How Texas now, police arrested a man on charges involving a child.
Kten's Angel Ferris learned what went down.
A 43-year-old Howe man is now behind bars and facing second-degree felony charges of indecency with a child.
Around 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, officers from the Howe Police Department, with help from the Van Alstyne Police Department, arrested 43-year-old Sergio Balderas Rico. This happened in the 700th block of North Collins Freeway after police executed a felony arrest warrant for indecency with a child, a second-degree felony. According to Howe Police, the arrest came after an investigation that started a year ago. And tonight on Kten News, we'll sit down with the police chief to discuss what made this particular case so different from the rest. Reporting in Howe, Texas, Aiden Joe Ferris, Kten News.
Boy, this story has made headlines across the country. A North Texas high school student stabbed to death at a track meet on Wednesday.
Just horrible. Police have charged another student with his killing. Meredith Yeoman spoke with the victim's family.
I feel like it was senseless. This shouldn't have happened.
From a packed prayer vigil at Hope Fellowship Church
Take breakfast up.
to the home of the victim's family.
I will never be the same.
Tonight, friends and relatives of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf are leaning on faith.
I can't really understand everything, but I just believe in God, and my faith will get us all through this.
Jeff Metcalf is father to Austin and Hunter Metcalf, brothers who were both at the track meet where today's tragedy happened.
They were twins, identical twins, and his brother was holding on to him, trying to make it stop bleeding, and he died in his brother's arms.
The horrific outcome unfolding at Kirkendall Stadium around 10 this morning. It started, Metcalf says, when a student from another school was told he was sitting in the wrong place.
End result, he stabbed my son in the heart and killed him.
That's the extent of this?
That's what it was over. Something so small, so trivial.
17-year-old Carmelo Anthony, a student athlete at Centennial High School, was arrested and charged with murder.
Very forgiving him. That's for my peace, not his.
Metcalf says his son Austin had a 4.0 GPA, was MVP of his football team and a member of his track and field team. In a matter of hours, more than $40,000 have been donated to his online fundraiser.
He was loved by many. He was a leader. He believed in God. He was a great kid. Made me the proudest father in the world.
A community coming together to mourn a young life lost.
Meredith Yeoman's reporting. Today was the last day to register to vote in Grayson County. One question on the ballot, a $22 million bond proposal from Denison Independent School District. We'll have coverage from the district's town hall this evening and details on that proposed bond tonight on Kten News at 10.
Nearly 48 hours since we saw unofficial results from Tuesday's elections in Oklahoma.
Kten's Alexander Porter learned how Ardmore Schools staff are deciding what's next.
Ardmore City Schools administrators are now focusing on next steps and future plans after the district's bond proposition did not pass on Tuesday. Over 51% of taxpayers voted against Ardmore Schools' near $145 million bond for a new high school. District administrators are now going back to the drawing board, which will include talking to members of the Board of Education and, quote, key stakeholders. Throughout the bond's planning process, they reiterated that renovations weren't practical. Despite Tuesday's result, those thoughts haven't changed.
I think a renovation is not very feasible. The renovation cost is astronomical, and as anybody in construction can tell you, when you start digging into a renovation, they're going to tell you this dollar figure, but it's always more because there's always something hidden that you don't know.
Coming up on Kten News at 6, we'll hear how district administrators plan to move forward and what options could be on the table. In Ardmore, Oklahoma, Alexander Porter, Kten News.
President Trump's honorary Secret Service member, DJ Daniel, made a stop in Denison. The 13-year-old has been traveling to police departments around the country. This time he chose Denison's Thin Blue Line. Daniel has been battling brain cancer since 2018 and was recognized by the president last month.
Strong winds left hundreds of Oklahomans without power. We'll take a look at the damage when we come back.
We can have more days with storm chances starting out Friday and heading into Saturday. We'll talk more about what's ahead with that coming up next. First, though, your outdoor forecast sponsored by the Crazy AC Guy.
We have heard from Breitbart News that Stellantis is stopping production at a couple of manufacturing plants, one in Canada and one in Mexico, just a day after President Trump announced 25% tariffs on all foreign-made vehicles. That is the good news. The stock market, of course, reflecting those tariffs, so a reaction, of course, to what the president said. The Dow down more than 1,679 points.
The NASDAQ down more than 1,050 points, and the S&P down a little more than 274.
Strong winds across southern Oklahoma caused damage and brought down power lines in several counties.
K10's Brianna Brown was out where crews were working to restore that power.
925 power outages were reported in Love County Thursday morning, according to emergency management, with OG&E and REA crews working to fix down power lines and begin restoration. According to the Oklahoma Mesonet's severe wind report, wind speeds got up to 72 miles per hour in parts of Love County Thursday morning. Emergency crews and power companies responded to reports of downed trees and power lines. A section off U.S. Highway 77 and Indian Trails Road was shut down as OG&E crews worked to fix down lines.
Working closely with our power company partners with OG&E and REA and ODOT, making sure that we're getting roads blocked off appropriately and notifying the power companies as soon as possible about power outages and things of that nature so that they can get the power restored and get the roads back open as soon as possible for the public.
People in Marshall County also saw damage from the strong winds. Tonight on Kten News at 6, we'll hear from Marshall County Emergency Management on the peak number of outages in the area and damage reported. In southern Oklahoma, Brianna Brown, Kten News.
More than 1,000 customers currently without power across a number of our counties. The largest number of those outages in Marshall County, with about 800 OG&E and REA customers in the dark. Love County with about 75 people reporting outages. Other counties affected, Carter County showing less than 100 customers, more than 200 outages in Pushmataha.
Heavy rain across portions of Texoma again today, but again, those more than 70-mile-an-hour winds certainly left their mark. My gracious.
Yeah, Mandy, we're tired of this, but we're not done yet.
No, we're not done. This week a little bit like a marathon with daily storm chances and multiple rounds a day, especially in the morning and then again for these overnights. Right now things are fairly calm. We've got this low cloud deck in overhead. It's dreary out there. Temperatures about 59 degrees. The cooler these temperatures are today, that's actually beneficial for us because it means we're not going to be seeing some of those stronger thunderstorms here over the next couple of hours. Winds about 13 miles per hour right now out of our Sherman Chevrolet Cadillac Tower Cam. Here's the big picture. We're still watching for some scattered showers, mainly off to the north from Pauls Valley to Ada, and then southeastern Oklahoma. That's where we're really monitoring storm progress. Had a couple severe storms about mid-afternoon today. Those have now pushed into Arkansas. Some scattered showers remain. Most of the tornado threat, though, stays in Arkansas and across northeast Texas away from us, and we'll continue to watch that frontal boundary, see if it can move a little farther north for the remainder of today. If it can do so, we'll have to watch a low tornado threat mainly in southern McCurtain County. Otherwise, everything goes to overnight and then again tomorrow, and it's tomorrow afternoon. You're going to want to have multiple ways to receive those weather alerts. We are looking at a significant tornado risk from McCurtain County down through Red River County and then even Lamar, Fannin, Grayson, Bryan County. A lot of folks in Choctaw and even up into Pushmataha County need to keep their head on a swivel for tomorrow afternoon. I'll show you in a second what it could look like as storms roll through. First, let's talk about round number 1. Everything, it's overnight once again, 1 a.m. and later, although the timing of this morning has kind of continued to trend closer to 2, 3 a.m. when we start to see more thunderstorms rolling back in again. This would have a hail and a wind threat similar to what we saw earlier this morning. That goes through about 11 a.m. for your Friday morning. Then into the afternoon, we're going to start to have things picking up a little quickly after about noon, with the line from about Durant up through Atoka and McAllister east with that threat for these isolated cells. These would have tornado potential with them. And then here it is late afternoon, early evening. This is when we're going to see that tornado threat really maximized as storms roll into eastern counties, and that stalled front is going to give us more storms even heading through midnight, possibly even 2 a.m. for your Saturday morning. We have heavy rain, more severe weather possible, and yet another round early Saturday. This would again be about after 2 a.m. through about 11 a.m. with some pretty beefy thunderstorms pushing through and lasting potentially through the afternoon. So for the overnight, it's a level 2 risk, and to Friday afternoon, it's a level 4 risk for eastern counties, and then Saturday, a level 1 risk. What you need to know, storms here pretty much daily for the next couple of days, mainly with the hail threat, but also with that tornado threat on the way for Friday afternoon and evening. Here's a look at the next 7 days, sponsored by Get Roofed, with temperatures notably cooler Saturday, Sunday, low to mid 50s, and next week looks like a winter. After this week, we've got sunshine and 70s returning.
Automaker Stellantis announced layoffs for 5 U.S. plants in Michigan and Indiana. The plants supply materials to Canadian and Mexican assembly plants, who just announced a pause in production for 2 weeks in response to the new tariffs. 900 U.S. employees are expected to be affected. However, layoffs are also expected to just be temporary. Most of those workers won't immediately lose pay due to the terms of the union contract.
As expected, President Trump's newly announced tariffs continue to garner pushback from critics.
Here's NBC's Julie Sirkin.
Fallout today after President Trump announced sweeping tariffs that will affect everything from the cost of cars, alcohol, even toys.
The markets are going to boom, the stock is going to boom, the country is going to boom.
Fears of an escalating trade war sending the stock market plummeting.
Markets in sell-off mode big time.
Taxes hitting almost every country.
The average tariff is going to be about 25% and could cost the average family as much as $5,000 a year.
A 10% minimum on all trading partners. What the White House calls a reciprocal tariff on dozens of countries they say are ripping off the U.S. China facing an additional 34% increase on top of a 20% tariff already in effect. And goods from the European Union, a 20% import tax. Adversaries and allies treated the same.
I'm announcing that the government of Canada will be responding by matching the U.S. approach.
And already Americans are feeling the squeeze. Stellantis automaker pausing operations at a Canadian plant and temporarily laying off 900 American workers. Today, Trump's team out in full force defending the tariffs.
We have manufacturing disappearing. That is not working for Americans. We've got to take this country in a different direction.
But for now, that direction could lead small businesses down a rough path.
It could be as much as $50,000 more for us to import our goods.
Adam Fazakerly and his wife own Lay & Go. Their big seller is the cosmetic bag that they manufacture in Cambodia, which was just hit with an additional 49% tariff. He says they tried to manufacture their product in the U.S. and couldn't.
We looked to 13 different manufacturers in our country, and the thing that they kept saying is, you're just going to move it to China because that's where it belongs. That's where we make lower priced fabric cut and sew products.
And as the reality of his tariffs sets in, President Trump is heading to his Florida golf resort. It's still not known if Liberation Day could turn into a liability. In Washington, Julie Sirkin, NBC News.
A number of blenders on the recall list due to laceration risks. What you need to know about this product when we come back. About 200,000 Vivitar blender bottles being recalled due to safety concerns. The Consumer Product Safety Administration says the blender blades can keep spinning after the bottle is detached. No injuries reported. Bottles made by Sacker were sold exclusively at Target. Starting from December of last year through January of this year, the blender must be returned to Sacker, not to Target.
Coming up just over a half hour on Kten News at 6, details from this morning's fatal crash in Tushka. We'll hear from Oklahoma Highway Patrol on what they say happened.
And we'll check back with Mandy to see how much more rain we could see. You're watching Kten News at 5.
And here's a look at that 70 forecast sponsored by Get Roofed with temperatures in the 60s ahead of us for Friday. We're going to have a 100% chance for storms on the way here for the next couple of days. North winds on Saturday, 15 to 25 with gusts to about 30. Cooler on Sunday with temperatures in the 50s. Next week looks really good with some more sunshine and 70s on the way. Lows even near freezing by Monday morning. We're going to see those low temperatures in the 50s heading into Wednesday and Thursday morning with more sunshine by the middle of the week. That's 7 day. Again, sponsored by Get Roofed. Guys.
See you back here at 6.